I want to answer this question. The NFL tweeted this on their official Twitter. Halfway through the season, who's your team's unsung hero? And I thought this was interesting. We'll flip this on the Detroit Lions, and we'll ask Lions fans, and we'll ask everybody in the room, who's your unsung hero for the team? And I'll go last because... Okay. I thought a lot about this, but Sam, who's your unsung hero halfway through the season for the Lions?
Well, I kind of teased him early on in I believe, the first or the second segment. I'm going to go with Graham Glasgow. He is the unsung hero of this team. Did I steal it?
It's okay. Go on.
All right.
It's okay. Go on. You're good. You're good.
You should have went went first yourself because I had a backup. I hope you do too. All right, okay. Graham Glasgow. So here's why he has been so valuable to this team. Because first of all, this is an offensive line that has not been completely healthy this whole year. I mean, you've had Jonah Jackson miss games. You've had Vaitai miss, I believe, the majority of the season. You had Frank Ragnow missing some time. And here's what that has led. Graham Glasgow has played 75 snaps at left guard, 86 at center, and 294 at right guard. And honestly, when you look at Graham Glasgow, he was one of those signings in the offseason that was a little bit under the radar, but without him, with just a regular old backup guard, like even a Dan Skipper or somebody like that, this offensive line would not run how it has run this year. It's pretty much, I wouldn't say it hasn't missed a beat at all, but it's still been one of the top offensive lines in the NFL. And not only that, because Graham Glasgow has played his vast majority of snaps at guard, he is the 5th highest ranked guard in the entire NFL according to PFF. Do you know who he is ranked higher than? Listen to these names: Zach Martin, Joe Thuney, Wyatt Teller, Landon Dickerson, Joel Bitonio, Brandon Sheriff, Quentin Nelson, Jonah Jackson, and Vaitai, by the way. He has a higher PFF grade at his position than Taylor Decker has at his. Frank Ragnow's PFF grade is 77.5. Glasgow's is 77.1. My point is that you have a high-level starting guard in the league as your backup, and you've needed every single bit of his production. And here's the thing. Frank Ragnow, I think we would all agree, is... You could argue, I don't know if you'd win this argument, but definitely one of the most important players on this offense, without a shadow of a doubt. But when he went down, I'm not saying that Graham Glasgow filled it seamlessly. I think he's been better at guard than he has at center, but still, he has... A backup center is hard to find, and Graham Glasgow is somebody who can play that position serviceably. And we've all talked about before the season, a lot of teams in the NFL struggle with offensive line depth. The Lions... They do to some extent, but when you have 6, I would say, high-level starting offensive linemen on your roster, it makes everything run so smooth, and they've been able to withstand so much. And that's why I have to say my unsung hero for the Lions is Graham Glasgow.
Well, you know what? Let me just take this. Throw it out. All right. No, I'm just kidding. No, the other part of it, too, and just to add to his point, because it's a great one, by the way, and you damn PFF stats, I had them written down as well, but you're spot on. You're spot on, though, Sam, and I want to add to that because the man's making $2.75 million.
Brad Holmes.
Think about that. And he's played, like Sam said, 3 different positions on the offensive line. He's been one of your more productive players. So, for that, he deserves a lot of credit as well. I will say this, the second option I have, and I got to go with the guy that I've, done a lot of homework on, and we kind of made a video about him earlier in the season, is Cam Sutton. CB1. And this man so far, you talk about a guy you signed after having the worst secondary in the NFL last year. He comes in as a pro, as a guy that, is slept on in the league, who slept on last year and what he did with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But you talk about what he's doing in Detroit right now. And you talk about his last year having a career year with the Steelers till now. Last year with the Steelers, it was a 47.9 completion percentage he allowed. With Detroit, 55.3%. He's been, again, Mr. Reliable. And you can look at that Ravens game and Lamar Jackson torched you, but that's more than just Cam Sutton. The whole defense got torched. The whole team played like trash. But besides that, Cam Sutton has been a guy that you don't hear a lot about. And I'll tell you one thing. That's exactly what you want from your number one cornerback. Like, it's good when you don't have to talk about him. We talked a lot about our corners last year, didn't we, Lions fans? And this year, you haven't really heard a lot about Cam Sutton, and he really is. He's been incredible. And for a secondary, like I said, your number one corner last year was Jeff Okudah. And you can make an argument, honestly, for Jerry as well. Both those guys have been unsung heroes for the Lions and have been incredible for the secondary. But again, Graham Glasgow is a great one, Sam. I'll go with Cam Sutton, Lucas. I'm
going on the other side of the ball, as at least Flannel went with Glasgow, but I'm going with Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds, in my opinion, has stepped up in such a big way. Amon-Ra St. Brown is obviously the focal point of this receiving corps, but every time Josh Reynolds catches the ball, he's making the other team pay. It's a first down or a touchdown. You talk about against Carolina when there's no Amon-Ra St. Brown and the offense still put up 42 points. Now the running game was obviously doing their thing. David Montgomery had a big game. But Josh Reynolds has just been so consistent. I don't think him and Goff's chemistry has looked better than what it is, and I don't think it's going to stop. He had an off week last week. I think he had one catch for like 12, 13 yards. I think he's going to bounce back against this Chargers defense. I just think in the playoffs, when you're going up against veteran teams and know what they're doing, you're going to have a veteran wide receiver on the outside who's been able to produce, and he's going to keep doing so. I don't think there's any reason for concern, and Josh Reynolds has stepped up in a lot of big moments this year. He's
shocked me. And the only person who called that, and I'll give him credit, is Broder. Because Broder, we had him on early before the season, and he said like one guy that I think is going to produce more than people think or be a big part of this offense is Josh Reynolds without J-Mo. He was spot on. So credit to him. JB, you got anybody unsung hero for the Lions?
Well, Lucas kind of took mine.
Man, we're stealing each other's, man, today. It's okay. Anyone else you could think of?
I was going to go with Sam Laporta, but I honestly thought Lucas was going to take Sam Laporta. So
I think another good one is Tracy Walker.
Tracy Walker's a good one, too.
I was debating between him or Reynolds.
But dude, C.J. Gardner-Johnson went down. Everybody cried, including me. And then you have a guy coming off an Achilles injury who just slid right into that secondary, and he hasn't really missed a beat.
Looked like he never missed a step and got right back to business. So you got to appreciate that, too. But Josh Reynolds for me, but Tracy Walker, as you said, is a good backup. So
yeah, he is. I mean, Tracy Walker, dude, he's number one. He's probably